Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run, more importantly we took their money as well, and coming up. But we will stare him down and then use an escape rope to get out of here. Welcome back to SuperMON. This is the series where we grab a Pokemon, we give it 4 moves, and we see just how far we can make it through Pokemon Crystal with just 1 life. And today we have the wonderful Pokemon DEWGONG to run through Pokemon Crystal. This was a suggestion from what might be the world's #1 Parasect fan, Shroom Raver, in the comments of the Parasect video. They mentioned that the Lapras video went very, very well, and of course Lapras did a very good run in SuperMON, but there is a forgotten about Generation 1 Water Ice type Pokemon in DEWGONG. So that is who we're going to be running today. Now, I've done a little bit of thinking about the moves, and I do want to try and make this run, at least for the first attempt, quite different from the Lapras run. So we are going to be running with a max attacking DV here, and I think we're going to be holding on to Headbutt for this challenge. We will, of course, be getting Ice Beam and Surf. Those two are absolute lock-ins for the moves for our DEWGONG. I don't think we'll be wanting ever to not run those if we have the options. And now when it comes to our third move, I have been thinking maybe going for Body Slam and running 2 normal moves along with an Ice and a Water type move. And in fact, we're going to get the cheaty type checker up for this one, I think. Ice, Water and Normal is what we're going for. And that would mean that only Water Ghost and Water Still would be resisted. And we don't have any of those types of Pokemon in Generation 2. You can see we have quite a few where we're going to be hitting neutral. And then we've got everything from Dragon Dark all the way up to Fire Ground will have 2 times or more effectivity if we run Water, Ice and a couple of normal moves. So I think that is what we shall do. So for move number 3 we will run Body Slam. Of course, both flinching and paralysis work very, very well together. There's a reason that Paraflinch is well known in Pokemon circles, and now we are going to very quickly reorder these moves into something a little bit more sensible. Surf, Ice Beam, Headbutt and Body Slam. And now let us take a look at our stats. We are, of course, level 5 with 25 HP, holding a berry with Surf, Ice Beam, Headbutt and Body Slam as our 4 moves, 13 in attack, 14 in defense, 13 in special attack, 16 in special defense, and 13 once more in speed. So once again, a very big thank you to Shroom Raver for suggesting DEWGONG, and we will get the challenge underway. Now, if you do enjoy these challenges, please do make sure to leave a like on the video. It lets YouTube know that these videos are worth watching. I really do think, and this is me talking about my own content, I really do think the SuperMON challenges are worth watching. Of course, if you do want to see all of the videos when they come out, you can always subscribe to the channel. That is the best way to get notified about when we have another SuperMON run or any kind of challenge run here on the channel. And if you do want to see them early, there is the option of joining the channel membership and becoming the HM Friend. Now, HM Friends get SuperMON runs literally as soon as they're done. So as soon as they have been recorded and edited and I'm happy with them, and I've given them a quick check to make sure I've not said anything naughty, they get uploaded to YouTube and then they get released. For the other runs, the time challenges, it's normally about a week in advance, but I'm not going to promise that. I'm not going to guarantee anything. It's regularly about a week in advance, though, for those challenges. And if you do want to join the HM Friends, I will be very, very appreciative. Now, the rival in this one is going to have the Chikorita line. That is because it will give him a super effective move against us, although we have a super effective move against him. So hopefully we won't be seeing too much of the rival in this particular challenge. I'm expecting a fairly smooth ride from DEWGONG. I don't think we'll have quite the easy ride like we had with Lapras, but we shouldn't have too many issues. Water and Ice is a very, very solid typing in Generation 2. It gives us just the right amount of coverage that we need. And Matthias, who came up with the SuperMON challenge, really, really likes seeing in the Elms lab when we go. Oh dear. Okay. Don't know what's happened here. We said yes to the catching tutorial and now we've been sent to hyperspace. We have a level 132 Pokemon. with 191 points and 224. So that is it. The run's over. We got through with 4 sets of constrict. Well done, Sunkern. You are a Supermon. You're holding the star piece because you're a superstar. Goodness me. And that does, of course, mean that Sunkern is now in top spots on our Supermon leaderboard. It's pushed Sandslash, Starmie, Lapras, Gengar and Clefable all down a spot. And we have Parasect there on page 2. Shall we try that again, this time saying no to the catching tutorial? I'll have to fix that at a later date. Just so you know, this is the exact same DEWGONG as before the crash, exact same stat experience, exact same number of experience points I was able to recover the DEWGONG challenge, thank goodness, so we didn't have to start completely from scratch. And I don't like starting things from scratch when technical issues happen, because we've already told a tiny bit of this DEWGONG story, and to be going back to the beginning would just be a little bit unfair on this Pokemon. But that does now mean we can actually progress through the challenge. DEWGONG is not going home with just 2 points, being superseded by an erroneous Sunkern instead. And I do think we're in for a fairly good ride in this particular challenge. I think much like we've done in previous runs, I might delay Sprout Tower a little bit. All depends on how we're feeling after Falkner's gym, because Sprout Tower could be a little bit dangerous. We are fairly defensive though, so we could give it a go. We can at least dip our heads in. The good thing about not being on the clock is that we can experiment. We can see if we think we'll be fine in an area. If we are, then we can go through. If we're not, we can leave and pretend it didn't happen until we are much more capable of taking on that part of the challenge later on when we are significantly over leveled. Not too many encounters either on the way up, more than I would like in a timed run, but not too many for a Supermon run. We're going in at level 8 into Falkner's gym, and of course he starts with Birdkeeper Abe. Will we outspeed? No, we won't, but we only take 5 HP of damage there from the Spearow. We are now at the level cap, and it's going to be easy against these 2 Pidgey here. I very much think we'll be in for a very good experience against them, because it's 1 Ice Beam apiece. Knocks them out, and we'll take on Falkner. First gym leader together. He is a flying type specialist, leads with Pidgey. Pidgey goes down in 1. Here comes, and there goes Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto, of course, being slower than the Spearow. And we get the Zephyr badge. First badge acquired, up to 5 points on the board. We can now leave, we'll get the call from Elm, and we will head into the Pokemon Center, where we'll do a quick heal, and we won't receive the egg, of course, in Supermon. I decided in the end to just get through Sprout Tower. We one-shot everything with Body Slam so far, and we will swap to Ice Beam for the final battle. Not a difficult place at all. I think I was underestimating our DEWGONG's abilities here. We crit unnecessary there against the Bellsprout number 1, regular hit on Bellsprout number 2, and then we knock out the Hoot Hoot as well. That gets us Flash. We will also receive the Lantern, and here is the key escape rope. If you haven't seen it, goes into the key item pocket. It is our substitute for not having the Dig TM, because of course in Supermon, if this is your first Supermon video, we have disabled all methods of catching Pokemon and all methods of learning moves. The only way to get a Pokemon and moves is at the very beginning of the challenge. And now as we're making our way down Route 32, I don't know if you all noticed, but I am very big on semantics. I love choosing the exact specific word for things, especially in our videos together. And one thing I've been doing lately is I've been trying to avoid using the word run. I think the word challenge is much more suitable for these kind of experiences together here in the videos. So I've been trying very hard to replace the word run with challenge in all of the voiceovers, and I'm not sure if it's something that will be noticed, but I think it sounds a lot better and actually feels a lot more accurate to what we're doing, because a run to me implies that we're going all the time very quickly and it should be fairly easy. Like your general speed run, they are runs to me, because you know what you're doing, you have the same routing, unless there's a routing change of course, but you have the same basic theory. Run in, run out. Whereas with this, we are having to put the pieces together, and we are having to pretty much work on the fly every single challenge run in order to get the right answer and get our Pokemon across the line in SuperMON. So that's something I'm going to be trying to do. I don't know why I'm sharing it with you either. Could just be one of those things I'm hoping I'm not on my own for being very pedantic like that. And we're out of one cave straight into another. This is of course Zubat's Well, where there are plenty of Zubat for you to encounter, and this is where we meet Team Rocket for the first time in the Generation 2 experience. Once again, I think this will be a very, very simple time through here. They don't have anything too great against us, and we outspeed and we knock everything out in just one hit. This is the first unnamed grunt. The big boss of Team Rocket, still not got a name. One shot on his Coughing with Surf. What would we expect? And we get out of here with 6 points to our name now. And it's straight out of there into our next gym together. I don't think we're going to struggle here at Bugsy's gym either. We will be able to surf away most things. We've got Ice Beam for the Scyther. So I think we're going to have a very, very good ride. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Water and Ice is one of the best type combinations you can get. Both are incredibly strong offensive types, and defensively you're not doing too badly at all. You do have all of the downsides of the ice type with your defense, but I think that's more than made up for by your offensive capabilities of the ice type, because it means we can do things like this. We can one-shot the Paris. And now we will move on to Bugsy, our second gym leader together. A bug type specialist, leads with Metapod. We'll surf on the Metapod, we'll surf on the Kakuna. Here comes Scyther. Will we one-shot? That is the question. Close, but not quite. 2 shots on the Scyther seals Bugsy's fate, and we get ourselves up to 9 points. Now with Bugsy's badge acquired, we can take on rival number 2. We'll use a quick potion here and we will engage him in battle. I really hope we outspeed the Ghastly here, because if we do, this will be an easy ride. One shot on the Ghastly. Up next is going to be the Bayleaf. We get poisoned. That's not a great issue for us. And we can one-shot the Zubat. Growing up to level 17 there, and we have defeated the rival for a second time. That brings us into the Ilex Forest, where we are going to reunite the bird with its human once again and obtain the Scythe. That is our replacement for Cut, just in case you didn't know. We will get the Repel back on and we'll have a little wave to the green headman staring at the tree. He's still ignoring us, still not happy with us. One day we will break his silence again, but that day is not today. Maybe when we start doing some more of our classic time challenges, he'll be less annoyed with us once more. In the meantime though, he's just going to be sulking there. And I am trying to think about our Goldenrod strategy now, because we do have Whitney coming up and we are weak to the rock type. So we might have to play it a little bit smart in Goldenrod Gym. I'm not quite sure what playing smart in Goldenrod Gym constitutes of yet, but we do of course have both Headbutt and Body Slam, which can afflict her Miltank with various conditions. I reckon starting off with a Body Slam could be the play. And now in this particular run, because I do want to get the Quick Claw for the Whitney battle, we're going to take a little bit of extra movement and we're going to go straight up to the National Park without getting ourselves teleport. And that does mean that we're going to be getting our levels for the next level cap up here, as opposed to down in Goldenrod Underground like we normally would. So that is a little bit of a routing change. It shouldn't make too much of a difference to any of the damage rolls. And it just means that we do then have the Quick Claw in preparation for Whitney, because even though we've got 70 in speed, I'm not 100% sure that 70 in speed will be enough to outspeed Whitney and her Miltank. You never know, it could be, and this could all be in vain. But it is every time in SuperMON better to be safe than sorry. So we'll get the Quick Claw, and I'm going to equip it now so that I don't forget, because I know what will happen. I'll get distracted in Goldenrod, and then we'll get back there, and I won't equip the Quick Claw. Whitney will crit or something with rollout, and I will be incredibly miserable. We should hopefully get up to the level cap of these next couple of trainers, plus last carry in Goldenrod Gym as well. That is the hope, anyway. So we won't have to go anywhere else for our pre-grinding. Probably should have used something other than Surf there on the Marill. Yeah, we'll be absolutely fine now to go into the gym. So this is our third gym together already. Goodness me, I feel like we are flying through this challenge. DEWGONG hasn't really struggled anywhere so far. We'll surf the Snubble, she's licked us, we'll knock it out on our second hit, and we have grown perfectly up to the level cap. A berry heals our HP and we can take Whitney on. She is our third gym leader together today, a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. We're going to use Ice Beam against the Clefairy as it slaps us a grand total of 5 times, and then I think we're just going to keep Ice Beaming against the Miltank as well. She has outspared, but we high roll on turn number 2 there, goodness me, and that means we have defeated Whitney. Whitney, that was a very, very, very close battle. It came down to probably getting the highest possible roll. That does mean we are now up to 14 points on the board. We have a new level cap of 25, and we can finish off what we're supposed to do here in Goldenrod City now. And that does include coming down here to get the coin case. That will be exchanged for a rental Abra in a moment. We've got a couple of trainers left to go down here. That Lickitung is actually really good early game experience. But now that we are out of the other end of the underground, we will go to this right-hand cashier and we will grab the rental Abra. Pokemon are currently out of stock. We are on the bike. Is there anything else we need to do in Goldenrod? Yes, we need to go and chat with Floria at the National Park and then go all the way back again. But through the beauty of video editing, we've already done that. And we can take on the Pseudo-Widow. It is going to hopefully be a one-shot with Surf, getting us some nice experience points there. We'll grab the big hammer. That will come in useful a little bit later on for when we want to get the HP up. And can we dodge that Psychic today? We can. He's a dangerous Psychic, so I don't like engaging him in battle in SuperMON unless I am absolutely certain we will one-shot him, because he has a Dream-Eating Drowsy, and those things are menaces. But that now means we will go into the Kimono Girls Dance Theatre, where we will try and get ourselves up to the next level cap. We get a lot of experience from these because they are, of course, fully evolved. And I think we're going to try and focus on the ones with the highest special attack at the moment. So we'll take those two, and then we'll take the Jolteon next, followed by the Vaporeon, and we'll leave the Umbreon until last. Jolteon there did a little bit of damage, but not too much. My aim here is to try and almost min-max our stat experience in the best possible way. Vaporeon stood no chance, and it turns out we needed to battle all 5 anyway to get to the level cap, so that was a little bit moot in the end, but it was worth a try. 3 shots against this Umbreon. Is this Umbreon going to knock us out? No. There was a universe where we kept on missing and Umbreon was able to chip away at us enough to knock us out entirely. We get the raft there. That means after we get Morty's badge, we will be able to surf across the water. I'm not sure if I've made it clear in any of the videos yet, but all of the HM items still have the same badge requirements, so we can't just go swanning about wherever just because we've got HM items instead of the HMs. And that very nicely brings us on to rival number 3. Hopefully he won't be an issue in this one. I don't think he will be. He leads with Haunter. We are going to use a Surf, and we high roll to one-shot it. Surf's going to one-shot Magnemite. We will swap to Ice Beam for the Bayleaf. We are able to one-shot that, and we can one-shot the Zubat. Nothing more than we would expect there from the rival. He didn't even get a turn of damage off. We'll release the beast now, and we can dig ourselves out of here using the escape rope. We're not on speaking terms with Ucine. I don't know why we're not on speaking terms with Ucine, but we will stare him down and then use an escape rope to get out of here, so that he will just be left in the lurch. And now, before taking on Morty, I went back to Goldenrod and I did pick up a couple of calcium to try and boost our special attack for this battle. I also went to the Moo farm to pick up the Mint Berry just in case, and I will engage Morty in battle. It's a one-shot on his Garcia and his Haunter. Out comes the Gengar. It does outspeed, but Hypnosis has missed twice. That is very nice. We can save the Mint Berry for another day as we finish off his final Haunter, and we obtain the Fog Badge, getting ourselves up to 30 on the level cap, and we now have 20 points. And now as we are heading towards the lake, because I think we're going to take on Pryce as our next gym leader, I'm going to get a little bit soppy and a little bit emotional with you all because I've just been reading through some of the comments on the videos that I've just released at the time of recording, and I know a lot of people complain about the YouTube's comments section, saying it's an absolute nightmare, it's a free-for-all in there, and I feel incredibly lucky and incredibly privileged to have one of the nicest comment sections I think I have seen anywhere on YouTube, and it is all down to each and every one of you who watch, who like, who engage, who just lurk in the background. All of you are greatly appreciated here. This channel would not be what it is today without all of you, and please do know I will always be eternally grateful, always eternally, great tautology there, Squidge, but yes, I will be eternally grateful for all of the support all of you have shown, especially because I'm not the most consistent at times, because I get ill, and then I get in a rut, and then I feel awful about not creating anything. But I think we're in a good place at the moment, and I feel like everything is going incredibly well here on the channel, and it's all down to each and every one of you. Thank goodness that Gyarados was fully paralysed there. That could have been the end of the run. Goodness me. Maybe shouldn't have gone in quite a low level, but luck has saved the day there. I've got to remember that I am not running Lapras, so we don't have the incredibly ludicrous defences and offensive capabilities of that line. And I also need to remember we could have used bloody Ice Beam there, and it would probably have gotten it down in a much quicker way. But we had a very lucky escape. Now here at the lake, even though we can't learn TMs, we can still sell TMs. So we are going to grab both Detect just in this corner here. And we'll have a little chat with the Hidden Power Man as well. See what he's got to say for himself in this run. Not a lot like normal, but we do get another TM that we can sell for a little bit of money. Now that brings us quite nicely on to the Rocket Hideout section here in Mahogany Town, where we are at the very end part of it. We've gotten through all of the grunts, there's just one more executive plus the electrodes left to go. We did actually have a lot of damage dealt to us by the executive Raticate of all things. I was a little bit surprised that A, we didn't one-shot the Raticate, and B, we ended up taking a fair amount of damage. I hope that is some of the last damage we'll be taking from Team Rocket. Fortunately, this executive is fairly easy, although again, a little bit disappointed we didn't one-shot the Arbok there. Never mind though, we did get through, and now we can move on to the Electrode. And these could be dangerous in this one. There is a slight chance that they will knock us out if they go boom. Got to play it a little bit carefully here because we don't outspeed them. Sonic Boom is fine. Regular Boom is not. In fact, I'm going to use a Hyper Potion here, just to make sure that we don't have our run ended by what is technically a wild Pokemon. There we go. We are through them. And Lance does now give us an extra point, and he gives us the Bath Plug as well. And that now means we can go into our next gym together. This is Pryce's Ice-type gym. He is an Ice-type specialist, much like us, and he leads with Seal. We're going to Body Slam the Seal as it uses Icy Wind. Icy Wind's fine. Most of his Pokemon don't really have much to hurt us. He's got Headbutt, but we've got Body Slam, so we'll 3-shot the DEWGONG there. And then we will finish off the Piloswine with a Surf. Very simple Pryce battle there. Wouldn't have expected anything other than that, considering we are Water and Ice ourselves. That does get us up to 24 points, and we have a new level cap of 35. And that does now mean in a moment we'll be able to head towards Olivine City at long last, but there are a couple of items I'm backtracking to pick up first. First there is the Mystic Water. That is going to give us a boost to our Water-type moves. And then we want to have a little chat with Tuscany of Tuesday to get the pink bow just in case we need it for the Chuck battle. However, we've got a long way to go before we even think about Chuck. We've not done any of the trainers here in this western part of Johto yet, and we still have quite a ways to go until we hit our next level cap. So that means we'll be taking on quite a few of these, trying to slowly edge our way up to level 35 in preparation for Jasmine. You got to remember a lot of these are under-leveled because they kind of don't know where you're going to go after you defeat Whitney, because you could go all the way here just on 3 badges. So that is part, I think, of the reason why the Johto level curve is so bad. It's because the game opens up entirely in the middle, and instead of trying to give you a nudge one way or the other, they just said, right, let's set everything to these ultra low levels so that the players don't end up getting knocked out and getting demolished by all the trainers in all of the routes you can get to. We are slowly but surely getting there, one step at a time now though, so it won't be too long until we're at the next level cap. And in fact, we're already there because we've climbed the lighthouse once already and been over to Cianwood to pick up the secret potion from the man in the dodgy shop. And that means we can ascend to the very, very tippy top of the lighthouse, where Jasmine is waiting to swig that secret potion herself. She'll pretend to give it to Amphi, and we will take chase and meet her in her gym, where we will take her on. We're going to hold on to the Mystic Water for this, and we will now engage Jasmine in battle. She is our 6th gym leader today, I can't count. She is a Steel-type specialist that leads with Magnemite. So one shot on both of the Magnemites with Surf, so we're not getting paralysed, and then it's a one shot on the Steelix as well. We defeat Jasmine and obtain the Mineral Badge, getting ourselves up to 27 points and a fresh level cap of 40. Now there is only so long we can delay the Chuck battle, and that time has come. It's going to be one of those battles that will go either way. We don't have anything great for the Poliwrath, we just have to hope for the best. This is Chuck, he is our 7th gym leader, a fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. We can one-shot the Primeape, that's absolutely fine. On to the Poliwrath we go. He's gone for Dynamic Punch, holding the wrong berry unfortunately. Hypnosis has missed. If we hit through, we'll be fine. Oh, 10 HP and we break out of confusion. We get the Storm Badge, getting ourselves up to 30 points. Of course, our level cap stays the same. And now we have the dreaded call from Professor Elm. Of course, that means just one thing. It's time for yet more Team Rocket fun. We are here at the top of the lighthouse with the 6 coughing and wheezing trainer. He is so obnoxious, but he needs to be beaten up once and for all. And we've already been through the ice path, we've already been all the way to Blackthorn City, picked up the Nevermelt Ice, as well as a couple of extra vitamins, the PP ups that we need to get Ice Beam all the way up to maximum PP. We came back to Goldenrod City, bought a few more vitamins, so now we are maxed out in a lot of our vitamin stats, and we are ready to take on rival number 4. This time he's going to lead with Golbat, and we don't mind that because we have Ice Beam with Pryce's Badge Boost, so we can get rid of it in one shot. We'll surf all over the Magnemite, no worries with that one there. We'll surf over Haunter as well, and then for Sneasel, once again we will surf. Didn't one-shot the Sneasel, which is a little bit concerning, but we will absolutely one-shot Meganium here. Another nice and simple rival battle. And now, after finishing off all of the rockets, barring this final executive, we will be free from the radio tower for another challenge. Goodness me, it never ever feels any quicker doing this. In fact, it feels like it's slowing down a lot of the time. We do get the clear bell from the director, but more importantly, we get another point added to our total, bringing us up to 33 points. Let us now go and get the radio card so that we can get through the Snorlax in Kanto. And then it'll be time to think about Claire's gym and what we'll do in Blackthorn. And I have decided that the best strategy here in Blackthorn is just winning. So I hope you're all on board with that, because if we win, we get the points and we can progress even further. That is the plan. Whether it will come to fruition is a different matter, but this is Claire. She is our final Cantonian gym leader. She is a Dragon-type specialist, leads with Dragonair. Dragonair number 1 goes down, she tries again with Dragonair number 2, and it happens exactly the same way, and for Dragonair number 3 as well. That brings us on to the Kingdra. She uses Smoke Screen, but Ice Cream, I was going to say there, Ice Beam connects. And we do knock Clair's Kingdra out. That doesn't mean we have the badge yet, because there is one little person, emphasis on little, who we have to get through first. It's Darren. We don't like Darren. Darren is a word beginning with D that I'm not going to say on this channel, but we don't like him. He knocked out one of our Pokemon. I'm still salty about it, and I think he is now the new main villain of the channel. Jasmine and Lance can take a back seat. Darren is the true enemy of this particular channel. And I'm messing up this questionnaire because I'm just focused entirely on my disdain and absolute venom for Darren. But we did eventually answer the questionnaire correctly. That does mean that Clair gives us the Rising Badge. We get up to 36 points on the board. And we are free to go to Victory Road. Before we go there though, we are going to pick up our extra 2 rare candies. The first of those lives here in Mount Mortar, and then the second is here in the Whirl Islands. With those both safely tucked away in our bag for another challenge, we will now start making our way over to routes 27 and 26. And now normally in these challenges, I like taking on the trainers here on this little pier section, but I don't think that's going to be the right play this time, because we need to be focusing on the Pokemon that can easily be taken down by a water-ice type. Ooh, not a lot of damage there on that Espeon. That is slightly concerning for the red battle later on, even though we have a long way to go until there, and we'll get a lot more stat experience. Now, normally we try and avoid Joyce, but today I'm just going to engage her in battle, accept the inevitable. She's fairly good experience, and we should hopefully be able to 3-shot this Blastoise with Body Slam. We'll finish it off with an Ice Beam just to make sure, and because we've got a Hill House right here as well, we don't need to worry about any damage being taken by Joyce, because we can instantly regain all of our health. Now, I've forgotten what Gavin has. It's been so long since I've engaged him in battle. So he starts with a Victory Bell, then he's got a Kingler. Probably best to use Ice Beam there again as he goes for Stomp. And what's his last Pokemon? Oh, a Flareon. We've got Surf for that. I don't know how I forgot his party. It has just genuinely been that long. Now, we are at the level cap, but both this cool trainer and then Beth at the top provide very good experience points, so I think it's worth taking them on for the stat experience, I beg your pardon, not the experience points. And with Beth being the final one before we get ourselves into the final rival battle, we should be there in just a moment. I always like picking up this Max Elixir. In SuperMON, the Max Elixirs aren't quite as important. However, they're still worth picking up because it saves a trip to the Pokemon Center. Generally, you don't take much damage in the Kanto section, so being able to just heal from your bag and get yourself back up to max health and max PP, it's kind of easier than going all over the place, especially when you've got to think that in Kanto we have to time our Pokécenters perfectly because of that funny old storyline. Anyway, let's take on our Rival 5 now. Here's the final rival battle. He's going to lead with Sneasel this time. We'll use a Surf as Scrooch has failed. That's great for us. We'll Surf on the Magneton, and oh dear, we didn't one-shot Magneton. That is very concerning. Fortunately, we got a Gen 2 miss there. We'll Body Slam this Kadabra. We'll know that will go down in one. And then we'll swap to Ice Beam for the Meganium. That was a simple one-shot and a simple one-shot on the final Golbat. Gets us through the rival for one last time. And at the very least now we are going to be able to see the Pokemon League. So we'll heal up our DEWGONG, we will then get our bunch of full restores actually. We're not going to get just 4 because we are SuperMON. And we will now look at our stats. We are level 42 with 154 HP, holding the Paralysed Cure Berry with Ice Beam, Body Slam, Headbutt and Surf. 95 in attack, 102 in defense, 96 in special attack, 117 in special defense, and 95 in speed. Now, just before doing our league predictions, I thought I'd have a little look at the timer for this challenge, because it automatically runs whether I want it to or not in Pokemon Crystal, and we have spent 2 hours 37 minutes so far with this DEWGONG. Now, if you think about a time challenge, we would have probably been at the league at around about the 50-minute mark with DEWGONG. Can't quite remember its end of the line time, but that does just show how much more in-depth SuperMON is compared to our regular time challenges. I take my time, I think about what I'm doing, I go around and battle a bunch of optional trainers to make sure that we're always getting as much stat experience as we can. And it really does show in a Pokemon like DEWGONG, because we have to be over-leveled in its time challenge in order to get through the league fairly easily. I've just checked, and in our DEWGONG end of the line, we beat Lance at around about the 57 minutes mark. So yes, it's been an awful lot more of an in-depth playthrough with DEWGONG this time. And now for our league predictions, unless Will Slowbro pulls any pesky shenanigans, I think we'll have an absolutely fine time there. Koga, I don't see any issues at all. We've got Surf, we've got a Poison Cure Berry just in case, and we've got Ice Beam for his Crobat. It's going to come down to Bruno initially. I think it's going to be all about the RNG there. I think we won't survive a critical hit cross chop. We should be able to just about survive if he doesn't crit, so it's going to come down to luck there. Karen, as always, big question mark. Don't know what's going to happen at Karen. We'll do our best. I've brought all the items I can think of to try and make the Karen fight as easy as possible. And then Lance, he'll be easy. We've got ice, we've got water. We'll have something neutral for everything, super effective for 5 of his 6 Pokemon. That is, of course, if we do get to Lance. And our first step towards getting to Lance is going to be engaging Will in battle. Now, I've swapped to the Bitterberry for Will just as a little bit of insurance. We'll hopefully not need it. We are able to one-shot the first R2 courtesy of a critical hit. We are on to the Jinx now. Unfortunately, we've not been able to one-shot her. And we've been sent to sleep. That is not good. We can move on to the Executor now though, and we'll critical hit. No, we won't. We'll just one-shot it with an Ice Beam. Up next is Slowbro. He is doing his horrible thing of cursing and, of course, amnesiaing, but we get through. Here comes Xatu. There goes Xatu. That was a little bit closer than I would like, but we have defeated Will. A quick heal and a quick berry swap later, and we are ready for Koga. He is our second league member. He is, of course, a poison type specialist who leads with a frozen Ariados. That's very, very fortuitous for us there. We will then continue using Ice Beam against the Venomoth. Supersonic has missed, thank goodness. And that brings us on to the Fortress. We'll use Surf against the Fortress. No sense in trying to freeze it when it won't attack us. Up next is Muck. Once again, we don't have anything too great for the Muck, so we're just going to use a combination of our moves, and now we should have the win in the bag, because we are able to one-shot. No, we're not able to one-shot the Crobat, goodness me. Yes, we are. We are and we aren't. We must have very low rolled on that first turn there. Now it is time for Bruno. I've got ourselves up to the next level cap courtesy of some rare candies, and we can take him on. He leads with Hitmontop. We'll use Surf against the Hitmontop, and we will take it out in 2 shots. Up next is going to be Hitmonlee. We'll swap to Ice Beam. It doesn't do too much, and goodness me, High Jump Kick does a lot of damage there. We have 2 turns of guaranteed damage because of this Mach Punch as well. It's not looking good at the moment. I'm going to fish for a flinch on turn 1 and hopefully on turn 2. Cross Chop has missed. Let's go to Ice Beam. We've knocked it out. Here comes Onyx. There goes Onyx. That was too close for comfort. I forgot to Elixir as well, but we scraped through Bruno. And now it is very much out of the frying pan into the fire with Karen. We will see how we get on. This could be the end of the run. I hope it isn't, but there is a greater than 0 chance that we don't make it through this battle. We'll do our standard opening with Karen, which is just try and get rid of the Umbreon as quickly as possible. We've got through the Vileplume. That is positive. Now, can we hit the Gengar? Yes, we can. It's cursed us. That's kind of what we want. We have Surf for the Houndoom. We have connected there, although unfortunately we didn't knock it out in 1, and she's now going to Healing Loop. Are we going to get higher rolls on the next couple of turns? It comes down to hitting this Murkrow. We have connected. We scrape by once more. Goodness me, DEWGONG. You are not doing me any good here. You're getting me all kinds of anxious. Let's full restore and let's put our rare candies into our DEWGONG. And then one use of an ether later, we are ready for Lance. He is, of course, the liar with the flyers, and he's going to lead with Gyarados. I think the only scary Pokemon here are frozen Gyarados. That's the second time we've frozen the first Pokemon here in the Elite Four. I reckon the only scary Pokemon is going to be his Aerodactyl. If he flinches us with Rock Slide a couple of times, there's number one. Rock Slide has missed, goodness me. I was going to say, if he flinches us a couple of times with Rock Slide, we could end up going down, because Rock Slide does an awful lot of damage. As it stands though, we have gotten through with just a single Rock Slide flinch. That means we have defeated the liar once and for all in this SuperMON challenge, and DEWGONG gets itself a well-deserved spot in the Hall of Fame. So that means that DEWGONG has officially made it out of Johto, and we will at least be seeing parts of Kanto, hopefully all of Kanto. Now that does of course mean that there's still up to another 8 gym badges plus a red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where I'm hoping for a much, much calmer Kanto section than the beginning, or should I say the end of the Johto section there. Goodness me, that was full of quite a few scary moments, none of which I was particularly happy with, but that is how the DEWGONG run went. We did manage to just about scrape it by out of the Elite Four. I think it was more luck than ability and skill getting out the Elite Four there, definitely with Bruno, and then Lance could easily have ruined our day with those rock slides. I was genuinely stunned at how hard those rock slides hit. But on the flip side, we had a very, very nice and easy chuck battle in the middle point of Johto. I know we went in very over-leveled, which probably did help, but it was nice to see us getting an easy chuck battle with an ice type, because that doesn't happen all too often. Now, in terms of Kanto gym leaders, I've not quite decided the order yet. I think we're probably going to do our traditional start at this point of Brock, Blaine and Janine first, and then we'll have to see where we go from there. I think Surge is going to be one of our last gym leaders today. We'll probably easily be able to take on Erica, and then of course Sabrina and Blue are going to be tricky in their own different ways. Sabrina, because I'm not quite sure we'll be able to one-shot her, and that will bring Sand Attack potentially into play, and then Blue's just Blue. We will either win or we'll do incredibly badly at Blue, and there will be no in between. And I really, really do like the freedom we get here in Kanto. We don't have to worry about facing any gym leader in any order, barring Blue, and that is a self-imposed rule that will keep Blue till last, because we don't want to be facing the lower-leveled Cantonian gym leaders with our low-level cap. That would, or with our high-level cap, I should say. That would be grossly unfair, not only to the gym leaders, but to the Pokemon we're running as well. Because if we went into any Kanto gym at level 81, which is Red's level cap, of course we're going to win. There'd be absolutely no challenge, and there'd be absolutely no test of skill. So while there are loopholes in the SuperMON challenge patch, we will do our absolute best to try and not exploit them. I think the biggest loophole we will ever exploit is doing those middle set of Johto gym leaders in the order that gives us the best chance of getting through, because experience is very thin on the ground in Johto, so we do have to put in the grind and put in the effort in order to get through those gyms in the order that we choose, and it does often help out, because I don't like seeing Pokemon go down in that middle part of Johto. We can either go down at the very beginning and give it another go, or if we go down at any points from Karen onwards, then I think we've had a pretty good run and we can all be happy. Of course, there's only been one Pokemon I can think of that didn't make it as far as the Elite Four. I'm not going to say which one in case you haven't seen it, but yes, I do think one Pokemon has gone down in the middle of Johto so far. And now I've just realised I've muscle memoried my way to Misty, goodness me. She's going to be our first Cantonian gym leader, I'm taking it as fate. She leads with Golduck, Golduck goes down in 2, up next is going to be Quagsire. We'll use an Ice Beam as it goes for Amnesia, that's fine, and the third Pokemon is going to be Lapras. Perish Song would be devastating here, but she has gone for Surf on turn 1, fully paralysed on turn 2, That brings us on to the Starmie. I think we're going to be absolutely fine now. A critical hit knocks it out, and we have defeated Misty. First Cantonian gym leader on the board, 67 points, and we do get our boost, of course, now to our water-type moves, courtesy of Misty's badge boost. So that might actually end up making some of this Kanto section a teeny tiny bit easier now. But anyway, we should start getting on with returning the machine part to the power plant owner. That will, of course, open up the Lavender Town radio tower for us to get the X-Men card so that we can get over to the other side of Kanto, where for us in this run, or in this challenge I should say, still being very pedantic about that, for us in this challenge it will be the easier half of Kanto with those gym leaders. So let us now wake up this very, very tired bear over here. And we're probably not going to be able to knock it out, so we'll just run away like an absolute wimp. But that does get us into Diglett's Cave, and we know who's coming up on the other side of Diglett's Cave. It's our favourite trainer of the challenge. It's time to take on 3Drill. He is a friend of the channel. He's got 3 lovely Beedrill, all ready to share their experience points with us. And he's now getting prepared for Christmas. We are, of course, in December. The silly C word is just around the corner. And I cannot believe, I've said it recently, but I cannot believe we are already thinking about Christmas. It doesn't feel like we should be through summer yet, let alone get through all of autumn and into winter at the time of recording. I'll tell you what, on the day this is being recorded, it's our first properly cold day here. I am very, very nippy, so I'm glad to be getting warmed up by doing these challenges. Let's now take on Brock. He is going to be easy. He's our second Cantonian gym leader, and we're just going to hold on to Surf. There'll be nothing he can do. The crit there didn't matter against the Omastar. We've got 4 times super effective Surf now for the Onyx and the Rhyhorn, I beg your pardon. And that is Brock defeated. Boulder Badge acquired, up to 70 points now. And so it's down through Route 1, through Pallet Town and onto Route 21, where we will see the remnants of Cinnabar Island and have a little chat with Blue. That will send him all the way back to his gym in Viridian City, where he'll be waiting patiently for us to hopefully get through our remaining Cantonian gym leaders so that we can take him on. Now, next gym leader lives right here in the Seafoam Islands. This is Blaine. He's a fire-type specialist, and he's going to lead with Macargo. And I think this is going to be a clean sweep. We get rid of Macargo, we get rid of the Bumhead Fire Duck, and we will also get rid of the Rapidash. 3 simple one-shots for 3 new points, getting us up to 73. And now I don't want to tempt fate, but I think we are going to be almost guaranteed to be getting up to 76 points as well in this particular challenge, because I really cannot see Janine doing anything too dangerous at all. She is the lowest leveled of all of the Cantonian gym leaders. She lives here in Fuchsia Gym, she's taken it over from her father, and she leads with Crobat. We outspeed the Crobat, we knock it out in 1 as we grow to level 55. We've got Ariados next, we'll use a Surf and knock it out in 1 hit as well. Pair of Weezing should come up next, and once again Surf is strong enough to knock them out in 1. And that just leaves her Venomoth left to go. She's wasting her money with a dire hit there, but it means nothing in the end. Soul Badge acquired, and we get all the way up to 76 points now. So that will bring us on to our next gym leader, and it's at this point we really can face them in any order because we have reached level 56. That means we can use our 2 Cantonian rare candies to get ourselves up to Blue's level cap. Let's take on Sabrina next because we are closer to her than any other gym leader. She leads with Espeon, and will we one-shot the Espeon? The answer is no, but once again we frozen, goodness me. If we don't one-shot the Espeon, we're not going to one-shot the Mr. Mime. Barrier means absolutely nothing though. And then we'll Surf all over this Alakazam. Reflect, again meaningless. She will Healing Loop, and will knock her out in 1 further turn. Marsh Badge acquired, getting us up to 79 points. So we've got 3 gym leaders left, including Blue, and our next one lives here in Celadon City. Would you believe we've not been to Celadon yet at all in this challenge? We'll grab the leftovers, and even though they're a little bit vestigial now, we'll pick up this PP up, and we will equip it into Ice. We've already done Ice Beam, we'll do it in Surf, and now we can make our way into our next gym. I do like the gyms where there's mutually assured weaknesses between the two typings, because Erica's gym is of course weak to ice, and we are weak to grass, so it just makes for a very, very interesting matchup, or it would do if the Cantonian gym leaders and gym trainers had Pokemon slightly higher leveled. If they were, call it 15 to 20 levels higher than they were, I think that would make some very interesting matchups. And it's a shame that we don't get too many of those gyms around. It all depends, of course, on our primary and secondary typings, and in this one, they are just right. But I think it's going to be a sweep here at Erica. I can't see it going any other way, really. She is a grass-type specialist. She leads with Tangela. All of her Pokemon are a little bit too slow to take advantage of being super effective against us. And with a stab super effective move ourselves, it is a bit of a foregone conclusion. Erica defeated, Rainbow Badge acquired, 82 points on the board, and that now means we've only got one regular gym leader left to go. He lives in Vermilion City. I have been dreading him ever since getting through Lance, but there is absolutely nothing we can do now. Let us take on Lieutenant Surge. He is our final regular gym leader, and he leads with Raichu. We'll use an Ice Beam against the Raichu, and we do knock it out in one hit. We'll swap to Surf for the Magneton, we take it out. That is very good so far. What about the Electabuzz? I think that could have been arranged. Please do correct me if I'm wrong there. But we get through the Electabuzz. That means we'll get through the Electrode. And we are up now to 85 points. We have one more gym leader left to go, and he lives in Viridian City. We are going to do a little bit of prep work for him, though, by healing up our Pokemon. And I think we'll also swap to the leftovers for this battle. I think the leftovers are going to provide the greatest chance of getting through. Not that I think he can do that much to hurt us with one individual Pokemon, but I think he could chip away at us by virtue of hit. But I think he could eventually whittle our health down just by doing chip damage with all of his Pokemon, but we now will take him on. He is our final gym leader of the challenge, and he leads with Pidgeot. We have Ice Beam for the Pidgeot, and I'm hoping it's a one-shot. Yes, it is. Alakazam comes out second. I was not expecting that, and it outspeeds us. That means that Headbutt was a little bit pointless. Oh, it's a speed tie. Even better. We will outspeed the Rhydon, and we have a quad super effective move, so we don't need to think about the Rhydon. We will swap to Ice Beam for the Gyarados and hope that he doesn't hit too hard with any of his moves. He is going to get caught in a semi-healing loop here. It's not a full-on healing loop though, because he is able to get some attacks off. He's going to waste all of his full restores on the Gyarados. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. Twister is weak, and we move on to Executor. We have another Ice Beam. It is a one-shot. Now, are we going to one-shot the Arcanine? Yes, we are. Again, I think that might have been arranged, but we get through Blue, and we are up to 90 points in total. We have gotten an awful lot further than I thought we would with this DEWGONG. I thought we would struggle somewhere in the Bruno to Karen section of this challenge. Maybe even get knocked out by Chuck and give it another go, because I was thinking that we'd have to go for attract strats to get through some of the fighting type Pokemon. But DEWGONG here has surprised, I think, hopefully all of us. And going away with a minimum of 90 points is absolutely not shameful at all. I'm going to be very, very, very happy with the outcome, no matter what happens now, because DEWGONG has excelled a lot further than anyone would have expected it to. And if you thought it would get this far, then I've got news for you. SuperMON is not as easy as that, unfortunately. A lot of Pokemon do go down at the very, very first hurdle. And you can see a lot of those SuperMONs on the live stream. That's where I do all of my practice. So if you do want to catch those live streams, do make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you get notified of when I go live. At the moment, the streaming schedule is a little bit all up in the air because my sleep's a little bit all up in the air. but it will eventually settle down once more. And now, before taking on red, we will have a very quick look at our stats. We're level 81 with 295 HP, holding the leftovers with Surf, Body Slam, Headbutt and Ice Beam. 183 in attack, 197 in defense, 185 in special attack, 226 in special defense, and a 183 in speed. Now, predictions for red. I think we'll outspeed and one-shot the Pikachu. We'll probably two-shot the Espeon and it'll set up a Reflect. Probably have a good old tussle with the Snorlax. It could go either way there. Then he's probably going to send out Venusaur. Chance of one-shotting the Venusaur, but probably not guaranteed. Blastoise, again, a bit of a tussle. Could go either way. He could end up knocking us out there. And then, if we're not paralysed for the Charizard, I think we'll get through. And now, after candy jarring all the way up to level 81, we can take red on. He leads with Pikachu, we outspeed and we one-shot. Up second is Espeon. Espeon sets up Reflect. It's looking like a carbon copy of the Lapras battle so far. He's gone for Amnesia with the Snorlax and first turn Paralysis. We're going to try and paralyse him back now with our own Body Slam as he goes to sleep. This is not great for us so far, but we will try our best. A Snorflinch is not what we are looking for here. I think we really are ideally looking for a critical hit on our side to get us through. We've paralysed the Snorlax. We get through it. We are at least seeing the Venusaur. We will use Ice Beam as he takes in Sunlight. We one-shot it. Blastoise is next. Again, we don't have anything great for it. I'm just going to try and freeze it. I think if we can freeze it and hope for the best, then we could be in business for the final Pokemon, of course. No, don't get fully paralysed. The Charizard. I don't know if we're going to make it because Flamethrower is going to run neutral. Are we going to fall at the final Pokemon? Yes. Yes, we are. And we know that that Charizard would have been a one-shot. So close, yet so far for our DEWGONG. It is our best performing non-SuperMON to date, though. Getting all the way to the final Pokemon, and we know we would have one-shot it. We just didn't get the luck we needed with the Blastoise in the end. If we'd have frozen, or even if we were fully paralysed for a couple of turns, I think we would have had the health to get through the Charizard, but it didn't happen on the day. And with that, we are done for another SuperMON challenge, so I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please do make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe, of course, if you want to see more SuperMON challenges. If you want to see them early, you can always become a channel member and join the HM Friends. And until next time, I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. I'm a little bit gutted about the ending there, but it was still a pleasure regardless. And I will catch you all very, very soon.